What are the components of a successful video?
A good hook. Of course, you got to grab their attention when they come in. Actually, let's start at the very beginning. So the core, or you got to be able to get them to click before you can actually deliver your content. So the very first part, of course, is coming up with a good topic that's going to resonate with the people that you're trying to reach. Make a thumbnail that, instead of, having that thumbnail necessarily featured on you, or having a bunch of unnecessary text in your thumbnails, things like that, just focusing on imagery that's going to help the people that you're trying to connect with understand at a glance, and this is a really important part, understand at a glance that the content that you're making is something that they're interested in. An example that I like to give for this is, for somebody that talks about baseball, even if they're not showing games or anything like that, if they're just talking about baseball, if they have a thumbnail, and in that thumbnail, it's them, or it's, something that's kind of unrelated to baseball, like a bunch of, text about them, or their own branding, or whatever it happens to be, and they put that out there, so the baseball enthusiasts that they're trying to reach, they're going to just glance right over that, because it's not going to grab their attention. They're not going to see that as something that they're already interested in. But if they instead use baseball imagery, even if they're sitting in an office talking about baseball, they're not on a field, anything like that, but if they use baseball imagery in their thumbnail, that helps the people that they're trying to reach identify that that content is something that they might be interested in. So because of that, you have to make sure that you do those types of things as well as a compelling title. But once you get them to click, then when you come into the actual piece of video content itself, it's really important that you hook your viewer. And what that means is you grab their attention and you let them know that basically you're not clickbaiting them. You let them know that you're in the right place, and you let them know what it is that you're going to be taking them through in the video. So you can do that through either introducing, a story at the beginning, or just simply saying, I'm going to be showing you this, or I'm going to be teaching you this in the video, or by the time you're finished with this video, you're going to know how to XYZ. So the idea is just putting that hook in there so that people know what to expect, but also so that they can confirm that what they clicked on is what they're actually going to get, for the people that are not familiar with you already.
But before we move on, Nick, before we move on to the next part, I want to just ask you a quick question about the way that you execute on hooks. When you complete your hook, or when you create your hook, are you being really SEO considerate? Meaning, are you using specific keywords in the hook? Are you just repeating the same things in your hook that are in the title of the episode? I mean, I don't want to go super deep here, but I'm curious how you see that.
Yeah, so when it comes to my content, some of it I target for SEO, some of it I don't care if it ends up in search or not. Yeah. So the thing with YouTube is that a lot of content creators, especially if they're like just getting started on the platform, because there's tons of information out there about how to get views. And one of the easy ways that you can get views on YouTube is targeting YouTube search, because people are actively looking for your content. So it's relatively easy to get a response off of YouTube search. The challenge when it comes to YouTube is being able to scrape the same amount of views off of a homepage or off of the suggested videos. And that's a totally different approach that you take, because in that particular case, when the homepage loads up, let's say they come onto YouTube to watch one of your episodes. Well, in that particular case, they come onto YouTube to watch one of your episodes. Well, I want to grab their attention and pull them into my video, right? While they're coming here to, you get them to log on, but I want to grab their attention when that homepage loads. So because of that, it's really important to make sure that you're targeting YouTube search, because it's extremely powerful. And depending on what it is that you're trying to do with your channel, it can be extremely consistent traffic if you can get your videos to show up there. However, it's also important to make sure that you're trying your hand at the recommendation features as well, because that's where a majority of the traffic is on YouTube. For example, if you were to put out a video right now teaching people how to do whatever it happens to be that you teach people, then in that particular case, let's say that you're teaching people about, fishing, then in that particular case, if you said something, or if you frame the video for YouTube search and it's something like, like how to, thread a line or whatever it would be, then in that particular case, when you publish that video, if you target it toward YouTube search and you're not being that compelling, so that it's not really appropriate for home pages or for suggested videos, then what happens is within the next like 24 or 48 hours, sure, you can get some views from that. And even if it's a high volume search term, unless it's something that's like trending, something major, the amount of views that you're going to get on that particular video are going to be relatively limited at the time of publish.
Yeah.
However, in the recommendation features, your videos can blow up in a 24-hour period or 48-hour period compared to what it is that you get in search. So when you're putting your content strategy together, I know we're going a little bit off topic here, so we'll bring it back, but when you are putting your content strategy together, it's important to make sure that you're considering those things. So for example, like I'm putting together this affiliate video and I'm doing it for the sake of driving revenue. And because of that, I want to make sure that that revenue is relatively consistent. So I'm targeting search for this one. On the other hand, let's say that you have like a sponsorship, or let's say that you're targeting something as an affiliate that you need to get attention to right now because the company that you're promoting is having some type of thing to where if you get a certain amount of sales, then you get this amount of a bonus or something like that. Well, in that particular case, then you would want to target the homepage and suggested videos. So the approach that you would take with the content and how you actually wrap it all up would be a little bit different. So instead of, how to thread a fishing hook, if you were going for recommendations, it might be something along the lines of, this fishing hook threading technique is guaranteed to catch you more fish, or something along those lines, right? So the approach that you take is going to be completely different based on where it is that you're trying to get your content. But we went completely off the deep end, so I can pull it back here to the question, which is, when you're doing your hook, are you putting certain keywords in there and things like that? So for me, it's more about connecting with the viewer than it is trying to do things like that for the sake of YouTube getting context of what the video is about. YouTube is smart enough. The system, the algorithms of YouTube and their AI that's reading all of this stuff and watching your videos and listening to your videos. They're so advanced that you can have a title that isn't even necessarily relevant to your video, and eventually their system will figure out who's a good fit for that content. When you're adding all of that metadata, you're trying to put all those words in your actual video. The only win with that is it just helps the system just have better context into what's going on. But for me, I lean on the viewers, and what I mean by that is when somebody comes into my video, even if I'm targeting for search, I don't care what I say in the beginning as it pertains to my title or the topic of the video. What I care about is that when the viewers come in to my video, that I'm able to grab their attention and keep them watching for a longer period of time. Because if I can do that, then YouTube will maintain my video in search positions for a very long period of time, because it's going to have the context. It's going to put it in the right place based on, the other metadata and based on what the topic of the video is about in general. But my job as a YouTube content creator is to keep the viewer in my video. So because of that, I cater everything to the viewer experience. So because of that, for the last, I think year or something, I've taken out logo intros and I'm just basically trimming the fat and just thinking okay, with every video I publish, how can I make this the best possible experience for the people that are interacting with the content? And by doing that, that's how you get YouTube to work on your behalf to keep your videos in search, to put your videos in front of the right audience, that as entrepreneurs, when you're trying to get business from it or get affiliate sales or whatever the thing is, when they're putting your content in front of the right people, then those people are clicking on it. And that whole thing that I was talking about before about resonating with them as your hook, instead of thinking of hey, I'm trying to trick this robot, right? If you can resonate with the people, then that will cause your content to do better on YouTube. So that's the thing that I focus on.